Great. We're live. Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on AA. All right. I see some few people in the house. Welcome, everyone. I'm very excited and delighted to be here today. So let me know who is in the house with me. I want to acknowledge you. What's your name and where are you joining us from? Please put it in the comments section, the chat box, your name and where you are joining us from, so I can acknowledge your presence. My name is Tayo Steven. I'm the CEO for Starry Academy. Yeah, I'm very super excited. I can see quite a number of people in the chat already, those who have joined. So please, let me have your name and where you are joining us from. Your name and where you are joining us from. We'll be having a co-presenter today. Yeah, I'm already live. Am I the only one talking to myself? Yeah? I am excited. Please show me if you are excited as I am. Show me if you are as excited as I am by putting your name and where you are joining us from at the right-hand side there. Hello, Michael. Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good to see you again.
Yes, I'm same here as well.
Yeah, we have a number of people in the chat box.
Wow, that's
All
nice.
right. I need to use my glass. Ahmed, thank you for joining us from Abuja. I don't want to pronounce the name wrong. Munat. I hope I called your name right, from Lagos. So, how is Lagos today, Munat? And Ahmed, how is Abuja? Yeah, the other people in the chat box, I want you to state your name and where you are joining us from. Jimo Ahmed from Abuja. Welcome, Jimo. So let's have your name and where you're joining us from. We're in AAA. Okay, so this is AAA, not AA, Audit and Assurance. So we are doing the skill level. I'm super excited to see every one of us today. So let me know where you are joining us from. All right, I pronounced your name right, Munat. Great. Who else is in the house? Tell us your name and where you are joining us from. So why are we doing this? We're doing this because many students will go into the exam hall. They'll say, I prepared, I really read. And I came out and I failed. And many people think it's the village people that is after them. Well, I'm not saying that village people does not exist, but they are likely not the one after you when you're doing your exam. Ada Obi from Lagos. Ada, welcome. Oluwakemi from Lagos. Welcome, Oluwakemi. So after the end of this webinar, it will last for approximately 1 hour. You will understand how to handle AA in the exam as you go forward, and of course, how to prepare efficiently. So we've discussed, we've had meetings with examiners. They have given us valuable insights that we want to share with you. So I want to hand you over to Michael. Michael is a lecturer for AA, and he's going to do justice to that. Then at the end of the day, I'm also going to come in and also talk on time management. So if you have any question, please leave it in the chat box. The chat box is to your right? Or if you are using a mobile device, your phone and tablet or so, you see it below the videos, below this video that you are watching. All right, so on that note, I'll hand you over to Michael, and I will do justice to this. So, Michael, over to you, please.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael. I say hi to you. I'm from Lagos. I welcome everyone on board. Thank you, Mr. For giving me the privilege to be here. So, like the essence, we know that some people write exams and they clear it once. So some people write the same exam and they write it for over 1 or 2 times. Still, having the same issue. So our essence of the essence of this webinar is to sell some information to you that other tuition center might not sell to you because of the access of the information we've gotten. So I do tell people that two of the best underrated gifts is access and information. So information is what we want to share with you, and we believe that this is going to put you in a good position for the examinations. While you take your time to prepare for the examinations, it's expected that you also do some due diligence, have some information at your back end that would also help you to answer the question very well. So the essence of this webinar is just to share so with you. So at this juncture, my name is Michael, and I've been a lecturer taking you in advanced audit and assurance. I believe that you're going to have a nice time with me. And if you are feel free to, if there's anybody that needs to be here, do well, share the link with them and let them join so they can partake of what we have to share with them. So let us start. While I share, give me just a moment. Let me just share my screen so I can project my material. Okay. I don't know if you can see my screen. Just can you confirm if you can see my screen? Can you see my screen right now? Starry,
I
can you
can
see
see
my
your
screen?
screen. I can see
All
your
right,
screen.
all right. All right, so let
Sorry.
us write everyone. So let's start. So I can exam success webinar for audit and assurance. So I'm not answering any questions. I'm not coming to solve any questions to you. But like I told you, we are sharing information with you, and we believe that this information would help you do well, especially in this examination. You're going to see the result if you take this and you take it with due care. So let us start. Audit and assurance. Don't forget
Now,
that we are still.
before we start, sorry, Maurice, say, would this webinar serve the useful? Would this be useful for AAA? I initially thought it was AAA. Well, it might be useful, but we are going to do AAA on its own. But this is specifically for AA, right? This is specifically for audit assurance. Audit and advanced audit and assurance, if it hasn't been done, it will be done. If you are not on our Telegram, if you are on our Telegram classes, then the links are there. If you are not on our Telegram classes, you will get the link by the time we finish this webinar today. So, Maurice, don't worry. You will get that of AAA, how you can join if you are not on our in our webinar class. If you are not on our Telegram class, sorry. All right, over to you again, Mike.
All right, thank you, Mr. Payo. So let's start. Audit assurance for skills level. So let me start. Our objective at the end of this webinar, you are expected to understand and appreciate three things. The first one is effective time management. Second one is reviewing, understanding, and analyzing question requirements carefully. Thirdly, the third part, which is that you not structure your answers to earn more marks. Do you understand? So this mark is yours. You must not position your answers so that you can grab this mark and it can be yours. So let us move ahead. So our goal. So maybe one of the issues students have when writing exam like audit and assurance is that many of them don't know how to break down the questions and answer them the way the examiner wants it, just because of some English word that has been used to ask the questions. So many of them don't know how to differentiate from a question that's been asked from this with this pattern and the question has been asked in the same pattern. So many why Mr. A might answer the question based on the level of understanding, and Mr. B might answer they might have answers to the question. They will actually have answers to the question based on how they prepare. But because of the manner at which it was being asked by the examiner, the two students are providing two different answers because they don't have the understanding of the word or the verb or the action word or the way the examiner has asked the question. So it's expected of you that you have an understanding of the question before you can answer. So there are some words, there are some phrases, there are some verbs, there are some adjectives that's been used when asking questions in advanced audit. So some of them include analyzed, apply, assess, calculate, comment, compare, conclusion, criticize, define, describe, discuss, evaluate, explain if you are writing advanced audit. You know that a chunk of the questions have started with the word explain. So illustrate, interpret, list, outline, prepare, recommend, relate, state as well, summarize, when, what, reasons, differences, expatiate, which, where, what, under, briefly, courses required, cases, IRAC rule, examine, distinguish, identify, and this. So these are common ways. These are how questions. These are the words that precede questions before that's been asked by your examiner. So it's expected of you to know if the question starts with asks you to analyze. Analyzing as providing an answer based on the word analyze is different from me providing an answer based on the word discuss. Do you understand? So those things are what we'll be looking at, and I believe that you are going to get value for being here, and I believe they're going to have a next thing. So let us start. Let's move to the next slide, please. So understanding the question. So when answering an exam question, it is important to consider the question requirements carefully to understand exactly what is being asked. So the following points will help you to understand um, the questions effectively. Do you understand? So um, let's look at those ways. So the first one, now we're going to take in this item one after the other. Look at the exam type questions and see how you can answer them. So like I told you, we are not answering questions. I don't tell you, I don't teaching you how whenever you see a question that is being asked by the examiner, your understanding of what the word that is being used should determine how you should structure your answer, not just okay, let me state this. Like sometimes that maybe for instance you've read a lot about it and the question came at your table, you were like so happy that wow, this is question this is the areas I've read so much, and you'd want to exhaust everything about it. When the mark allocated to that question, it was few. And I thought when I thought you also just give some people and you're trying to give so much just because you know them. And at that point, it won't increase the mark you're going to give. You're still going to the same back. It's just that you've the timing you're supposed to use for that questions have not been used, and that has been to your disadvantage. So let's move. Now the first area is the area of analyze. Now analyze this requires entails when you see the word analyze, it entails breaking the question into separate parts. Ensure you discuss and interpret each part, and lastly relate the exam question to the scenario that has been provided. So let's look at the exam type question. For instance, let's try this exam type question. So the opinion of an assurance provider must be an independent opinion given by a professional person with appropriate skills in assurance work. So explain in detail with specific safeguards the auditor can put in place to reduce theory of the auditor's strength identified in above. So these questions would have preceded some other questions. All you need to do is to look at those safeguards, list three of them that can be used, analyze them. Do you understand? So list and analyze them. So these are the way you don't just look at it, you don't just list. You must give your threats, and you must give how it can be solved. Do you understand? So that is an example of when you are told to analyze a question by the that is being tested by the examiner. So we've looked at the word that is analyzed. Let's move to the next one, which is apply. So in this scenario now, application requires that you, of course, you've gotten the knowledge of what you are doing. When you were prepared for exam, you've read some particular area, you've read some ISAs, and you've read some other medical code of conduct and other things that relates to other stuff. So when you're told to apply, they might give you this application is most related to case scenarios. So they might give you a case scenario and they will tell you to apply what you've learned. They might tell you to apply a model, apply a standard, apply a rule of law that would answer that question adequately. So when I thought to apply, it entails putting into action the law requirements in a given case scenario. So you are going to relate to the authority that you have used, what you used with the facts of the case. So when you put in a case, once you are told, you're just supposed to provide solution based on the understanding of the case, based on what you know, you need to provide solution. For instance, now the state should state the consequences of the auditor's failure to apply skill and care in the performance of the professional service. So, of course, you know what skill and care. If you understand that, or you only need to just state and apply, state them in the essence of and the question as the case law has been that is being asked. Now, the third one is assess. The first one was what analyze. Second is application. Now, third one is assessment. Now, a question mark starts you might see a question mark to start with, with like state you to assess. Now it entails you determining the strengths, weaknesses, and importance, significance to a given question. So when you're told to assess, what the examiner wants to do is just to look at those strengths, you can carry out your SWOT analysis, look at those things that are for the question that's been asked and against it, and provide your own answer. Now the next one is calculate. In most cases, you tend it's only on few cases you tend to calculate in the advanced audit. It's only maybe the advanced meaning in audit and assurance. When it comes to advanced audit and assurance, you might do some free calculation, maybe also with financial ratios. But in this case scenario, but if you're told to calculate, our calculation also requires you to compute and use mathematical process of determining the value of an outcome. So that is that for calculation. Now comment. Now this will entails including an explanation, illustration, criticism in your answer. So you might give a scenario or issue, and all they want you to do, you maybe is to provide answer and give a comment. Maybe okay, you want to give a letter and give your comment on what's supposed to give your own position. Maybe it's a antagonist comment or a protagonist comment. So any of them is allowed because you are writing a professional exam. Do you understand that now? So it's expected that you do that adequately. Now compare. Now this exam requirement. So this entails you explaining the similarities and differences between two different subject matter. So in most cases, questions are like might come in form of you differentiating, state the distinguish between. For instance, you are being asked to differentiate between internal auditors and external auditors. So there are two ways you can actually compare to this. You can do them in a tabular format, which some of us know about. You can do them in a statement format. Do you understand? But if I didn't say tabular format, you ensure that the number if the first point should be on the fall on the same line. Do you understand? And the next point. Then if I do it in a statement format, once you are ending one with the reason why this one is better than this, then you can start. You can the interjection can be why or why this one is now than this. For instance, this is a girl because she is like that. Why this is a boy because he is tall. So that's the statement format. And if you're going to do them in tabular format, anyone that you feel that is gonna you are used with, you are going to make your work easier or make your work look good and make it look understanding to the recipient of your question of a question booklet. So it's better you express yourself and don't forget that it is a professional exam and expected to display professionalism while answering your question. Now, we've looked at compare, which I told you that it's just for you to just you giving differences or giving similarities to two different subjects and matter. Now, the next point is for you to the next part is that is give conclusion. So this entails your answer. This entails ending your answer well in a case so of course many of us in your conclusion maybe giving this talking about something, maybe you're talking about an audit or something, and in conclusion this is the position, this is what you are concluding on, this is your state of mind. It's just like a summary of your ending of your stuff, so you put your own ending to a proper perspective for the recipient of that message. Now the next one is criticism. Now you might be given a quick question and you are told to criticize. So you must not answer criticism. So you don't just answer there, you don't just come and define, you don't just come and explain. This is what you're not told to criticize. You are told to analyze the situation to identify all the weaknesses, problems that like this. If they tell you to criticize maybe Buhari system of government or our present leadership structure in the country, you must come with your own problems, come with your weakness. Look at those things that you feel that you're not doing well from what you've read. If it's what's happening in the current trend, bring it and apply it to your answer. So you're told to criticize, you're not told to come and be explaining, you're not come to come and be discussing, you're going to come with your points, give out your points. If you're answering them based on two different points, let your answer be on those three different points. Don't come and be giving a summary, don't come and be giving a story. Your answer must be in a good and concise way and ensuring that you are criticizing and you are giving what you are like you're expressing your mind to what is happening. Just look at it from the other angle. Do you understand? Now, another important area that questions have been mostly asked in audit and assurance is with respect to definition, define. So this entails you giving meaning to a question. Ensure you keep it short and relevant. So define every entails to define. It is important for you to not to exhaust your mental archive on how to answer the question, your intelligence to show that I really understand and I can deal with this question. So define, of course, one of the things I like about ICAN is that for every question that has been asked, they provide you with the mark that's allocated to the question. In most cases, the highest mark that can be allocated to when you're told to define is 5, or sometimes even 3 itself. So if there's a question that's waiting for you and told to define, you're giving like you're answering like you're using a full page, a full booklet, a full part of a booklet to define, then you have really wasted your time. So at the end of the exam, you might notice that you are not feeling finish well. That's because you allocated some time that is supposed to use to answer that question to dwell on a question that will not earn you more mark because you are giving more effort. So mark is being tied to the bulkiness or of the question that is being asked. So if you look at some marks, the question that's asked 15 marks, you know that these questions require me to do a lot of them. I might spend more time. I need to. It might require that I write more. It might require that I explain more. It might require that I give dish out more content because of the mark that has been allocated to that question. Do you understand that now? So when I told you define, don't explain, just make it short. The maximum I was suggest to give two paragraphs. But if you give one paragraph is not is free, it's very much okay. But if you feel that you can add more other paragraphs to it to support what you given in the first paragraph, it's fine. But to ensure that it does not exceed two paragraph because you have other things to give your time to. Now, there's an exam type question is that you are being asked to define the term audit tricks. So, of many of us has we've come across that before. Define the term audit tricks. So, your ability to answer that question is also important as well. So describe now this requires that you give detailed account of the qualities or features. So let's continue in the next slide. So it gives it's required to give it entails giving a detailed account of qualities or features. So example type question entails for instance entails to describe a term value for money. So you must give a detailed account. It's an advanced form of definition. You must not just define. You must add your to the definition, give some other supporting documents. If you feel you need to add some detailed accounts, you need to add some things that I feel that would make you that support what you are talking about. Add it. So describe the term money for money. So another type exam type question is when we are being asked to describe why the auditor needs to understand the entity and the environment as part of his risk assessment. So this is also an area that many some students are not getting it right. You must know how to describe and why, of course, why you describing. You must provide your to answer detailed account that's going to support what you're talking about. You might give qualities, give features, give characteristics, give some attributes to back up what you are talking about. Now the next point is discuss. So talking about analyze, how to analyze, compare, criticize, define, apply, calculate. All those things are what we've looked at before now. We also looked at describe. Now we're moving to discuss. So there's now you can't avoid this word discussion. So when don't forget that you're writing a professional exam and when you're being told to discuss it entails examining in detail using argument about the pro and cons of an issue. So for instance, look at this exam type question. You are being asked to discuss the benefit of audit carried out by an international affiliated audit firm. So in this kind of scenario now, you're coming to discuss. You're not coming to just give an essay. You're coming to give your discussion. You can come now. This one has given us a pipeline to working, which is to benefit you. All you need to do is just to work on give those benefits that if you know or you think that comes from working with an international affiliated audit firm. So all this, there's some questions that might not limit you to discuss to give benefits or the other part. So if you're told to just discuss in a normal way and there's no other thing, ensure that you look at it from two different angles and you support almost times your answer is going to be in the statement format like I explained, but you're coming from the angle of the good side and from the bad side, and at the end of it, you support your answer with your conclusion and you wrap up that question. But don't forget that for every question you're answering, discussion will definitely ask more mark than maybe describe and maybe than definition of like that. Now the next part is evaluate. Now this entails determining the scenario in light of the argument for and against. Ensure you mention evidence to support your evaluation. So for instance, if I give you a question to ask, maybe I told to give from a question and you might told to evaluate. So you don't just come and talk shyly. Forget I said you're writing professional exam. So I'll come with about confidence. Okay, I thought to evaluate these things. Come give an introduction, support your argument to some supporting information, evidence to back it up, and at the end of the position, you can give a conclusion. But we know that you are giving an evaluation, like giving an answer, you are giving an overview of what has happened and how to tackle it in some certain scenario. Now, list. Now, it's important I lay emphasis on here because many lots of students A wide variety of students are wasting their time on this area because they feel that they want to exhaust all that they know. Do you understand? So it's important that whenever you're being asked to list, don't come and be explaining anything. The examiner does not want you to explain. All the examiner want from you is just to list. Now in this question now, the examiner asks you to just list the types of audit report that you know. List type of audit report. So in this scenario now, you don't have to come and explain. Just come and it's different from when we have been asked to state. Just list the types of audit report that you know. So that is that. And just list them. Every report, in most cases now, when you're supposed to list, every point you list have either 1 mark or half mark. Do you understand? So ensure that you list that appropriately. Now, if you go ahead to explain, it does not increases your 1 mark. You still have your half mark or your 1 mark that has been allocated to that part of the question. So let's move on. So now explain. Now, when I told to explain, it entails making the answer clear, supporting it with enough details that are relevant, concise, and explanatory. So the exam type question. Now, when I told to explain, now this is the area. It's like we are breaking down a concept to a layman. So you may need to come up with your theory, what you know about it. Give another, you might give a different angle to explain that matter, that subject matter. Then you can maybe give a scenario to support it, or give a practical scenario to support it. So to make a layman one looking at your answer will, I know, okay, I have an idea. Even though I don't have an idea about what it means, but because of how you've democratized your answer, it is going to make the person understand, and it's going to make it. That's when I told to explain. On this point, you're not expected to explain. You're not expected to define, nor come and give it something short or concise. No, I told you give something elaborate. Come, give me a definition. Support it with your understanding. Come ahead and explain this to me. Come from different angles and make me see, make me understand, make me buy into what you're explaining to me. Do you understand? So let's look at some exam type questions. The first one is you're told to explain the main audit work expected to be carried out by you on receipt of the bank confirmation. Another one is to state and explain the steps the auditor should take if the management of an entity refuses to allow the auditor to send a confirmation request to its customer. And finally, explain the limitations of a joint audit. So this one is now they can't allocate any amount to you because of what the examiner is expecting from you to do. They would have allocated more marks because they needed to dish out more content so you can earn these marks. So the next part is outline. Now outline. Now this what has to do with you. This entails explaining the highlighted points stated. So this is quite different
Ah,
from list.
sorry for cutting you. I
Yes.
see a number of people have joined us again. If you are just joining us, I'm just a moderator here. I'm also a co-presenter. So my name remains Tayo Stephen, and Michael is there. We're doing this presentation together
Okay.
today. So please tell us your name, tell us where you are joining us from so that we can acknowledge you. And if you have any question that you want to know about AA, if this is your first time of doing the exam, leave your question in the chat box. We will try and answer them before we finish today. So, Michael, I think you have about 10 minutes more.
All
So,
right.
so
All right. I will
we
transfer.
want to keep everything within an hour if possible.
Yes.
So please
Yes.
leave your question in the chat box. Esther, welcome. Where are you joining us from? So leave your question in the chat box. We will pick it up and try and answer them before we go. Specifically to AA, right? Specifically to AA. Leave your question there. If you finish this webinar and you do what we are asking you to do, you should not repeat AA again in this ICAN exam. Oh, thank you so much. Busayo from Iba 4, Esther from Uyo, and Karim Sherif from Abeokuta. Welcome, everyone. So if you are just joining us and I've not acknowledged you before, please leave your name there. Blessing. Say I'm OB Blessing from Lagos. Welcome, Blessing. All right, Michael, please carry on.
All right, so now welcome everyone on board. So I spoke about outlining. So outlining is quite different from listing. If you're told to outline, you're not told to just list like that. I'll give your list with few explanations. Do you understand? Like that one, like for instance, now outline the composition of an audit report. So if you list if there are five and you're listing them, leave the first one, maybe introduction. Then you can come and give a short, concise explanation to support what you've done. So many people confuse outlining with listing. So they are not the same thing. They are different. While listing is just we just give that items that are that are under what you have been asked. But outlining require you to give more list and also give some explanation to support what you are talking about. Now, recommend. So this entails giving an advice. So you might be told to give a recommendation on maybe on what on an order that's been back, or advise somebody, write a letter or and give and give your own recommendation. So as based on what you can only give recommendation based on what you know. Look at this exam type question. So we are told to recommend the internal controls that can be installed to mitigate the risks inherent in the dispatch of goods and invoicing. So of course, you cannot recommend if you don't know more about this subject matter. So it's expected of you that you give your recommendations and make it professional and in a concise way, especially if you're writing a report. Now exam requirement this means that you should explain by focusing on an exact point. So I supposed to state for instance, state for fraud risk factors. So as you are stating these things, you are expected to also give explain details. Don't just give a concise definition. Explain in details to support your answer. Now summarize. Now this entails giving a brief condensed conclusion. Avoid unnecessary details, which is usually common in a case study question. So we're to summarize. Just come and give a concise summary of what you're talking about. If you give me a summary of what you're talking about, okay, I spoke about this, I spoke about this. You don't have to go in depth. Just give a summary, give an overview, and give thought those areas. Now, now let's see the next slide. Now the exam type question. So for instance, they're told to summarize. So we're applying the IRAC principle, which an acronym which depicts that I stands for identification, R stands for rule, A stands for analysis, and C stands for conclusion. Please, if you do have questions, please drop them in the comment box. I'm going to attend them, and we're going to visit those. So, also looking at IRAC principle is one of the principles that we feel that could help you to answer your questions well. So, look at this example type question. We're going to summarize principal methods available to record internal control system. Summarize principal method that can be used to record internal control system. So let's look at the first one. So in this kind of so let's make use of the hierarchy principle to answer this question. But before this, let's quickly explain how it works. So the first one is identification. So first of all, if you are talking, if in the identification requires you to first of all, you need to identify those internal control systems that you are going to talk about. So you need to know them, and if you know them, you to put in good position to answer them. So the second rule, which is R, which stands for rules. So from the above, you are expected to apply the principal methods to recording these things. So you must know those methods and then they apply them. Now analysis, which is A. By analysis, you are expected to explain and relate this method to internal control. So this method are told to apply, then you relate them to internal control. The first one is which is identification. I spoke about you identifying those internal control systems. Rules, you knowing applying those principal methods, and then analysis, you relating those methods to the internal control system. And C, conclusion. Here you are expected to conclude the with your answer. Do you understand that now? So now at this point, I believe you've had a nice time with me. So effective time management will be taken by our uncle. I believe it's going to be a great time together with him. Now, thank you, and I remain yours, Michael Martin. All right, so I'm done with my session, Mr. Taiwo. Tayo. I don't know if you're there, Mr. Tayo. I'm done with my session. So around effective time management. So Mr. The anchor is going to take the section, and I trust that we're gonna learn one or two things on this part.
Okay, I think you should still go on. Once you are done, I will come in.
Oh, okay, I should talk on effective time management.
Yes, go ahead. I think there's still some slide after that.
All right, all right. So now effective time management. Now, It's important that you know how to manage your time effectively. It's important that you plan yourself very well so you could manage your time effectively. You know you have your limited resources to work with, which is time, and you must know how to allocate them appropriately. Now, your approach to planning your time for the exam is crucial for completing the exam and ensuring the best use of the time that's available. Now, the timing for the exam, I believe, is 3 hours and 15 minutes. So there are many people that know a lot of things that they want to come and discharge all they've read for the past months, several months and several weeks. So but because they don't know how to manage their time, they don't have the skill called effective time management skill. It's going to affect how they're going to answer questions, and at the end of the exam, all they could answer is like two to three questions when the examiner wants you to attempt 5 questions. Do you understand? So now you know a question is now in three different sections. You have section A, which is composite question. This consists of a compulsory question which have a total of 30 marks. Um, you don't have to spend much time on this section. It's not compulsory to start that question. You can come back and visit it. For 5 minutes is enough to answer this question because you need to prepare time to review what you've done. So do you understand? So if question one is the one thing you are not familiar with, please don't start it. But it's important that you start your answer with a good you start answering a question on a good note. Not that you start the question and along the long line you have to cancel what you've written and go and start all over again. So it's not giving a first good impression of yourself to anyone that's going to mark your example clear. So please, if you're going to start with question one, know that you are working with time. Now, I must not spend more than 45 minutes answering question one. Do you understand? Now, if you answer question one, I know that it's 45 minutes. Okay, I could remember it when I was writing I think my corporate reporting. When I was writing my final corporate report, I noticed that I think that was one of the first time where I was attempting question one in all of my ICAN exams so far. So I was writing question one and I was solving it, and at some point I didn't know that I spent 50 minutes on question one, and I'm still 50% I've completed some part of it, and I still have 50% work to do in question one. And I have 4 questions to do that I've not done in that corporate report. So as soon as I check my time like that, I'm supposed to spend 40 minutes in question one. Last time I gave myself then, and I've spent 50 to 55 minutes. At that point, and as I came to the consciousness of that, I have to stop immediately. I stopped the question, ask me question one. I don't know where I've got into. I just stopped it, and I had to go and answer, attempt the other 4 questions. That really helped me, because if I was carried away question one, before I know, I would have spent an hour 30 minutes on question one. And how would I use 1 hour for 10 minutes to answer the other 4 questions? So I did that and go and it was helpful, and I was able to touch those 4 questions, answer the ones I know very well, touch them, and the little time I had to review what I was doing, I was able to come back to question one to add some finishing touches to it. And at the end of the exam, when the result came out, I did very well in that sub in that with CL. So please, it's important for you that you take this time management skill very, very important, because it's going to help you. It's one of the things that differentiates those people that also did very well in that kind of exam, those people that have reference all over again. It's not a portion that you have reference. I come back to that exam. That's why I'm taking the time to talk about time management that you ability with. Now, second part, section B. So this consists of 3 questions of 20 marks each. You are expected to just answer 2 questions, which is 30 minutes. So you can allocate 30 minutes per question for each of those questions. So you know that if I'm starting question two, if I'm answering question two, question three, I must not spend more than 30 minutes max. If I'm asking question two and at some point I'm not finished it, I have something I need to do, and it's 30 minutes. Stop, leave this extra speech and go and answer other questions. Why? Because that is the time we've allocated to question. For instance, is question two. Because if you tend to use more time for it, you are depriving other questions that also need that they also need your time to answer them adequately. Do you understand? So if you can do this, it's going to help you also to touch these questions at the peak of your strength and not at the residual, or when you end at 30 minutes, 15 minutes more, 30 minutes more, you don't start panicking and trying to say you can touch all these questions. At that point, you are giving those questions, you are giving those questions the residual of your strength, and you'll be answering them based on pressure. And because of that, there's high likelihood that you're going to make some mistakes, you're going to make answer some questions inadequately, and you might not be able to write some things clearly because you were under pressure. Do you understand that now? So
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. So your time
yeah,
is almost up, and you need to finish the slide. So I guess you have just 5 minutes more to go. So go
all
ahead,
right,
please.
thank you. Now so let's move to now section C. This consists of 3 questions of 15 marks each, for which you have to select 2 questions. So note you are expected to answer 2 questions only. Um, we are recommending you also use 30 minutes here, but question 5 to 7. The questions are not as bulky. Sometimes it could be bulky, but at least you can spend like 25 minutes or 20 minutes, 25 minutes or 30 minutes. But like the same principle that's applicable to asking question section A and section B is also applicable in section C as well. So also when answering questions, ensure they are answered on a new pages. So for instance, question one, which is new page, question two, new page, questions 3 and 4. Remember to leave enough space for each unit within a particular section. So don't lump all answers together. For instance, now we answer question one, it has A, B, and C. Now when you're done with question one C, you notice that one C, you finish one C at the half of that page. At the half of that page, you now say, on this page, I can let me just start question 2A. No, what we are saying is that you should make your work look neat. Make you have enough space so you can at least maybe some things, but you might even need to have something. So when you have enough space, you'll be able to come back and add those things while within your answer. So have spaces. Start a new question on a fresh page, even though the last question you answered, you only use the first row of that booklet. Ensure that you leave it, go and answer a new question on a fresh page entirely. Do you understand that now? Um, so your approach to planning your time for exam is crucial for completing the exam and ensuring the best use of your time available. So the requirement is that the first requirement is that you should read the requirements of the question before attempting the questions. Secondly, scan through the question paper to see the questions that you can easily answer and write down some of the points as they are coming to your mind. You can do that at the back of your answer sheet or at least or the last. So you can do this. You are not expected to write anything on your question paper, but one is sometimes once you have been served your question, you have 15 minutes to go through to read the question. So as many of us do that time, I tell students that's the best time to pick the question you want to answer, rank them on the other priority based on how much you know there. Then maybe there might be some things that you need to maybe based on these things you want to just write them down so you won't forget. You can just go to the last page of your answer booklet. You can maybe just draw one line there or draw the question mark. So you can just list those stuffs there. Don't go and write on your question paper. Do you understand? It's not allowed. So also time wasters. Now don't waste too much time on the question. Make sure you allocate time on each question as explained earlier. When you exceed this allocated time for this question, please keep that question and go to the next question. You can come back to that later. I'll explain all these things to you, and it's going to help you a lot. It will help me a lot. The exam I wrote in my life, and I can score another professional exam as well. I've written as well. So, and I believe our friends as well that has been leveraging on this time management skill. Now, spacing. Please leave enough space for the question you are not very familiar with, or you did not remember that at that point. So, maybe for instance, you are answering question 1A, 1B, and 1C, and when you go to 1C, you feel that the things you read are not coming in. You can leave one blank space. You don't have to leave one blank space and go to the next fresh page. You can even leave like two if you feel that okay, the answer to that question requires you to discharge more of content by answering those questions. So please, always start the questions you can answer easily. Always start with the questions you can answer easily. For the last time, always start with the question you can answer easily. Don't push yourself to something you will not finish. Don't push yourself. Please, whenever there's a question, matter if the first question is just 5 marks, please start with that question. Don't start with one of 30 marks, and along the way, you now got handicapped, and you just got stuck, and you're even getting angry at yourself that, this thing I know, then why is it not balancing? Why is it not coming? So please start with one that you're very, very good at. It's gonna flow. It's gonna make you. You're gonna give you a good pedestal to start your answers with. Do you understand? Now, I believe you're with me. I believe you're having a nice time with me. So
Yeah,
now
if
so
you're
after,
just joining us, please remember to put your name in the comment section and where you are joining us from so that we can acknowledge your presence. So I've been enjoying what you are saying. Always start with the question that is easiest for you. The
yeah.
exam is not a place where you go and start with the toughest one. No way. All right, that's a very brilliant one. Thanks so much. So if you have your own question you want to ask, leave them in the chat box. We'll do our best to answer them. I guess you have just 2 minutes more. So you might just quickly wrap up.
All right. So how to maximize marks? So the comment, you have a comment. You
Okay,
have a
okay.
comment.
I think we'll leave this for them to read it.
All
How to
right.
maximize mark. We'll leave it for
All
them
right.
to read it.
All
So
right.
thank you very much. And yeah, because I'm going to talk about this also as I go into my own session because really
All
I
right.
have just a short time now to go.
All
So
right.
if you have enjoyed this session, give us a reaction, give us a thumb up, give us a clap offering, or give us what else can you give us? Just let us know that you are deaf, you are hearing what we are saying, and so on and so forth. So let us know if you have found this session valuable. Let us know. All right. I'm waiting for your reaction. Waiting for your reaction. You got to tell us that you have found it valuable, or and if you have not found it valuable, tell us as well. I'm waiting for your reaction. Yeah, please type there. Type it in the chat box. Okay, while I'm waiting. Oh, Charity say I can't hear a thing. Wow, Charity, please refresh. Refresh. Please refresh if you can't hear a thing. Esther is giving a hand of applause. Thank you very much, Esther, for that. She's also giving thumb up and yeah, mm, to our lecturer. Ahmed, this presentation is insightful and educative. Thank you, Ahmed. Okay, so let me share my own screen. You can stop sharing.
All right.
You can stop sharing so I can then share. Thank you very much, Michael. So while you still stand by, let me quickly share my screen and tell our student what to do. This is what the exam look like. That is 2021 May diet. From what I'm seeing, there's now session 1, session A, session B, and session C. It doesn't matter whether they are session A and B or session B, A, B, C, D. It doesn't matter. It's the same approach. So as you watch this very well, this is the Institute of Chartered Accountant of Nigeria skill level exam, audit and assurance. This is May 2021. The time allowed is 3 1/4 hours. Yeah, 3 1/4 hours. 3 hours for the exam, 1/4 hours, which is 15 minutes, is for reading. Is for reading. So as you see, look at the screen now, reading time, what do you do with that? I will let us know. So always read the instruction. Like this one now, the instruction say you are required to answer 4 out of 6 in this question paper, which means from session A and B, you are required to answer 4. Then session A, it says compulsory 40 mark. So that is what do you use your 15 minutes reading time to do? You read the instruction and then you go and read the requirements of the question. Like this one that is 40 mark now, right? The session A that is compulsory. No need reading this place. No need reading all of this because you must answer it. So what should you do with your 15 mark? You go and to the session B and C if C is there, and you go to the requirement. Don't read through the body of the question because you'll be wasting time. Here now, they say you are required to A, explain substantive audit procedure. So even without reading through this body of the question, you find out that you should be able to answer this. Then B, purpose of risk assessment. C, category of financial statement audit assertion rather. D is example of substantive testing. You see 20 mark here that has nothing to do with the body of this question. So if you read through the question, the requirement, and you find out that this is the one you can answer, you tick it. You go back to the second question 3, you read the requirement. Here it says, explain the following. Remember, Michael have already told us what explain means. So this one say A, factors to be considered before accepting audit, the audit of our company. So it even has nothing to do with this story here. It says stages in an audit of a company. That's another 6 mark. It has nothing to do with this story. He said the third one, the different role of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and Federal Government of Nigeria in the regulation of external audit. You see that nothing is involved in all of this, the body of the letter. So if you know that, you know that you want. That's one of the questions you want to answer. Then you go to the next one, question 4. Read the requirement. Look at the body. You can't read all these things in 15 minutes. So you read the body of the question. If this is the one you want to answer, this place says discuss the following. So he has already told us what discuss means. So you will discuss the A, the B, the C. So the first one says principal method available to record internal control system. So whether you read all this one doesn't matter, right? You just say discuss the principal method. So, but in this particular case now, in relation to this particular question, the body of the question here, which is a microfinance bank. So that's the reason why you will read this later. But principally, you know that it's talking about internal control here. Then it tells you in B part, explain the categories of control activity. Then it says, C, general information system control and application control. You go also and read the question 5. You read the requirement. By the time you have read all the requirements of the question and you have ticked the one you want to answer, right? You can grade them that if you find out that you can answer everything, what should you do? Should you answer everything? If you answer everything, that is risky. That means you are not following the requirements of the question. So you grade them that this one will be the first one that we answer, this will be the second one, this will be the third one, and this will be the fourth one, right? So you start with the simplest one. So that's how to do that. Now, that's what you do with your 15 minutes. Once you have done that, then the next thing you want to do is to allocate the 3 hours that you have. These 3 hours they give you here, you can see that I'm trying to underline it here on my screen. These 3 hours, you try to do what? You try to allocate it. And how do you allocate it? I just want to be sure. Yeah, Michael, please give me a feedback that you are hearing me, just to be sure that I'm not the only one talking to myself here. Yes, are you there, Michael? You have to unmute. Okay, I'm not sure. Michael is still there. Okay, Michael has blanked the screen. All right, if you're hearing me, please state that in the comment section. Can you hear me? Or I'm just talking to myself? If you can hear me, say yes, we can hear you. That's all I need as feedback. Oh, thank you, Adewale. Thank you, Adewale. Adewale say you can hear me from this side. That's beautiful. So if you are just joining us, please leave your name and where you are joining us from. We should wrap up in the next 10 minutes, right? So I go, okay, thank you, Busayo. So you can hear. Beautiful. So let me go back. Thank you, Esther. Blessing. Beautiful, beautiful. So you are all hearing me. So let me go ahead back and share my screen. Share. Where am I? Yes. So this is a 3 hours question. How should you share your time? Now let me go to how you should share your time. The 3 hours. What should you do with that 3 hours? All right. Where are you? I think I've already done the math somewhere here. Yes. Now watch the screen carefully. Remember, you have 3 hours to do this exam. This is the 3 hours, right? You see me circling it here. 3 hours. 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. Then you have 60 minutes in 1 hour. So if you multiply 3 hours by 60 minutes, you have 180 minutes. So if you divide 180 minutes by 100 marks, you have 1.8 minutes per point. So having said that, now let's go and see on how you should allocate your time in this exam. So this question 1 is 40 mark. So how many minutes should you give to read? 1.8 times 40, that gives us 72 minutes. 1 hour, 12 minutes. So no matter what you are doing, if you're answering number 1, once it is 1 hour, 12 minutes, move. Remember, even though this question say 40 marks, it will be very difficult for you to get 40 marks. So maybe you get 39. So don't spend time trying to get that as additional mark under this when your time is up. Just move to the next question. Now let's go to question 2. Before we even go to question 2, that question 1 again, remember it's 40 mark. It's now broken down into 10. A is 10, B is 10, C is 5, and D is 10, and E is 5. So you use your calculator, you say 1.8 times 10, that means 18 minutes for the A part, 18 minutes. 18 minutes for the B part too, because that one also is 10 mark. And of course, 5 mark will be 9 minutes, isn't it? Half of 18. And this one also will be 18 minutes, 5, this one will be 9 minutes. If you add everything up, it will give us 72 minutes. So we'll now go to question 2. This question 2 also is 20 mark. The maximum time you should give to this is 1.8 times 20. That is 36 minutes. 36 minutes is the maximum you must give to this question. Now, if you want to break it down further, A is 2 mark. What time should you give to that? 1.8 times 2 mark. You shouldn't spend more than 3.6 minutes. When I was doing this exam, this is a formula I use. And so that 3.6, I will use only 3 minutes and save the other 6.6 minutes, right? Then the second one is 6 minutes. 6 mark. 1.8 times 6 mark will give us 10.8. I will spend 10 minutes. I will reserve the other 8. The other one is 6 mark. 1.8 times 6, 10. Okay, yeah. Each of them is 6 mark. Here, that is B and C and D and 6 mark. So your 15 minutes can be used to allocate time that you will spend. Once you are in any of these and you have spent the allocated time, please move to the next one. And the same principle apply to everything here. That's how to allocate mark. Then the next one is attempt all the questions you are asked to attempt. For instance, here, the question 1 is compulsory. Make sure you attempt it. Then section B, 3 questions out of 5. Attempt only 3. Even if you know the 5, don't do a sabi book too much and you go and answer 5. If you answer 5, the examiner will strike out the best 2 that you know, that you have there, and then they will mark the others. So follow the instruction. Don't say, let me write all the 5 and let the examiner choose the best. Yes, they will choose the best and they will strike it off for you. All right. Somebody say, I can't hear you. Rejoice. Okay. Who else here? Oh, who else here can't hear me? What is happening? If you can hear me, please say yes, I can hear you. Let me stop sharing and check my audio is doing well, yeah. Rejoice. Please refresh. Busayo say I can't hear you. What is happening? Busayo say, okay, I can hear you. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Busayo, please refresh. Rejoice, please refresh. Okay, Ahmed say I can hear you. Good. Thank you very much. Refresh the screen if you can't hear me, because other people are hearing now. We are not in the same room here. So it must be your internet. And okay, let me quickly go because my time is almost up. I don't want to miss all the points that I've noted here for us. All right, attempt the question you are asked to do, right? Please attempt them. Then, like Michael said, go through the easy one first. That's the easy mark. Go through the easy mark. So I'll give you an example now. I'll give you an example. You see this question now. It says substantive audit. You are required to explain substantive audit procedure. 2 mark. 2 mark. That's the easy mark. So you just do the explanation and eat that one. So if you know that, if you're answering this question. Now let's go on. Which one is the easy mark here? The easy mark is one they give you 4 mark, 5 mark, and all of that. Those are easy mark. For audit and assurance, if you are very, very well, audit and assurance is usually not very difficult. It's not really difficult, but it's purely theoretical. So if you have any question, leave it there, and then we can go on. Then remember that the exam is only you need 50 marks to pass, not necessarily 100 marks. So make sure you attempt all the one you are expected to attempt. Okay. Then the last one is make sure you write legibly. If you don't write legibly, legibly means write in the way that the examiner can read what you have written. Don't write jaga-jaga handwriting. Jaga-jaga handwriting is when you go to your doctor and the doctor wants to prescribe for you. There's a way they will write the handwriting. You can't see their prescription. I don't know whether they give them special training in the medical school. No offense to medical doctor, please. I have a lot of friends that are medical doctors, but don't write like that in the exam. Now, I go to the script before I wrap up. So you don't have to start in chronological order. You don't have to start question 1 first when you get to the exam. You don't have to start question 1 first when you get to the exam. You don't have to start question 1 first when you get to the exam. Question 1 is not the first thing you need to start. Start with the one that is easier. So as you can see here, as you can see what I have done here, as you can see what I have on the screen here, 3A is what we have here, 3A. So for this 3A now, you don't have to start with question 1 or 2 or 3. You can start with 3. So I put 3A here, I put 3A, continue. Then I put 3B here, I put 3B, continue. I put 3C here. You can now start with 3C if that's what you are comfortable with. I put 3C, continue. I put 3D if there is 3D, and then 3D, continue. You must give enough space for your this thing once you are doing once you are going through this. Once you are going through this, you must put enough space there that you must, when you want to answer the question. All right, please, just one moment. I seems to, one moment. Yeah. Just one moment, please. One moment, please. Okay. So make sure you leave enough space as you are going along here. Make sure you leave enough space. All right. Then make sure also that you don't leave a blank space in between. You can see the way I've labeled my worksheet here, my answer sheet. Make sure you don't leave a blank in between. If there's a blank in between like this, put here continue next page. Make sure you don't leave a blank screen, right? You don't leave a blank sheet in the exam. All right. So having said that, I'm just running through my list here. Yes, I think that covers that. So let me know what, if this has been useful. Then lastly, what material should you use to study? What material should you use to study? That is the next thing that you want to look at. What material should you use to study? The material you should use to study, in my opinion, is the Starry Gold Academy video. Okay, why should you use the Starry Gold Academy video? It's because, one, it has the lectures, video lectures. Then it has more than 12 direct past questions. Then it has ICAN pack. All the questions in ICAN pack, we have extracted them and used them, right? We have extracted them and provided the solution in the video lecture. Then we give you the ICAN, we give you the video lecture guide. Yes, we give you the guide. That is the study guide. We call it the 30 days blueprint, the blueprint on how to go through all this material. And then lastly, you can join our Telegram class. So all of these are available once you get our video lecture. So whether you get our video lecture or not, just WhatsApp the phone number on the screen, and then you can join our Telegram class for free. All right. So having said that, please write down the number because I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so that I can take your question before we call it a day. Please write down the number 080-234-28420. 080-234-28420. Then the second one, 070-868-10335. I repeat that, 070-868-10335. All right. So while I stop sharing my screen, let me get to see your comments. All right. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. If you have found it useful, let me know. All right. So if you find it useful, let me know. Let me see here. Is there any question? Okay. I may say for clarity to those that is writing AA for the first time. Question 1 is now 30 mark. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. As against previous diet, which is 40 mark. You see why I said you must read the instruction. So if question 1 is now 30 mark, it means that the time you should allocate to read, it means that the time you should allocate to read should be 1.8 times 30, which is 54 minutes. That's what you should allocate to it. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for that clarification. Any question from anybody in the house? So if you don't have any question, okay, say, please, can we get the recording for a rewatch? Yes. If you are not on our Telegram platform, join the Telegram platform. The phone number I gave, the replay will be available for you. The replay will be available for you. So go over there and we'll send a replay for you. Even I think we'll also send a slide, right? We'll make that available to you as well. Yes, so let me get your reaction, feedback. Has it been a worthwhile time we have spent together? Yeah, like I said, the video lecture is your best bet to passing this exam. Why? You see, video will save you about 60% time. Video will save you about 60% time. That's not all. That's not all. When you get the video lecture, make sure you go through it at least 2 times before the exam. At least 2 times before the exam. Make sure you go through it at least 2 times before the exam. Why should you go through it at least 2 times before the exam? Because you see, when you listen to music over and over and over again, after a while, the music will start playing back inside your subconscious mind without you doing anything. So our student told us that when they get to the exam and when they see a particular question they have gone through the video lecture before, the answer they will be hearing the lecturer's voice telling them the answer. So that is just the principle. That's why you should use video. So make sure you get your own copy on the number that I've shared earlier. So I'll try and share my screen again. So in case you don't have that number, so that you can note it down. Yes, that's the number on the screen. Note it down and contact us by call, by WhatsApp, or by text message. So if for any reason or in any form or in any shape we are not able to respond to you, it could be that our office have closed, but we'll definitely get back to you. So the replay is available. So make sure you get your video lecture. And if you have not gotten the video lecture, make sure you join the Telegram class. All of this makes it possible for you to pass. Then, how to avoid being overwhelmed. You see, when you carry ICAN pack, it's voluminous like this, very big, right? So you want to avoid, ICAN pack is very good. All the textbooks written by authors are very good, right? All those textbooks are good. Get those textbooks, but keep them aside. Go through the video lecture at least 2 times. When you have finished going through the video lecture at least twice, and then you can add every other material that you have. All right. On that note, I want to thank you very much. I want to wish you success in your exam. I want to wish you success in your exam, and I want to commit your way into the hand of God. I say, may God give you success in your exam. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Have a nice day, everyone. So, Michael, I don't know if you have anything to tell our people before we go. Michael, we're not hearing you. No. We are not hearing you, Michael, in case you are hearing me. Michael, we can't hear you, so we have to call it a day. I don't know what you have done. You have to unmute. All right. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you all.